Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We are so pleased to have in the studio with us today our friends from Azentive. We got Dr. Kat Donnelly. She is the co-founder and CEO, joined by her colleague, Sun Mutialu. He is the co-founder, CSO, and CTO. Sun and Kat, how are you doing?
Wonderful. Thank you for having us.
We're doing great. Thank you very much for inviting us here.
Oh, we're honored. I can't wait to hear this, the topic and content. Joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc. They're celebrating their 20th anniversary this year. How you doing, Kristen?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
How are the classes at Point Loma going?
They're going.
Okay, very good. We'll go with that on that. And joined by my long-time colleague and friend, he brings in some great guests like Azentive, and his insights on some of these very cool issues is beyond reproach, and that is the inimitable Neville Villamoria, Senior VP at Mission Fed Credit Union. How you doing there, Neville?
I'm great, Drew. Glad to be here again with another amazing opportunity to tell a great story, so I can't wait to get into this one.
Absolutely. Well, you tee up the great ones. We'll start with you on this one, Kat. You can talk a little bit about the mission of Azentive.
So Azentive stands for Another Zen Initiative, and our mission is to bring as much of the nutrient-dense, clean food and plant-based medicines to as many people as possible, especially those who need it most.
And who needs it most? Like everybody?
Well, everybody, but people who didn't have access to this foods, inner cities or school children, especially children, we're very concerned with how they eat and people like that.
Right. So, Sun, how did you guys get into this? You guys are co-founders. When did this epiphany happen?
When we realized that sunlight was missing in a lot of people's lives, it's so important to have sun, and yet people take it advantage. I often say it's like I've gone to a firefighters meeting and nobody wants to talk about water.
Interesting. So, Neville, you're always into these very cool things, all right? When did you get in touch with the Azentive folks?
So as you know, food insufficiency in San Diego is a big issue, and we've been supporting people like the San Diego Food Bank forever,
right.
The Food for Backpack program.
Right.
I was introduced to the San Diego Food System Alliance, and I liken them to, instead of feeding a person a fish or teaching them to fish, as that old adage goes, creating a whole new fish ecosystem. And when I was at this gathering, the annual gathering that they had, I met both Kat and Sun, and I was completely taken by their disruptive thinking and technology and their humanitarian focus on how to use food as medicine, something that's been around for 2,500 years, but is the latest thing. So I said, we've got to get the word out about what the power and potential of how we can actually deal with a system change with the food ecosystem.
Right, exactly. So how do we do that change? We'll start with you on that one, Kat. Okay, how do we make this change?
So we just copy Mother Nature. So biomimicry is the science we like to follow. It's just copying Mother Nature. She knows what to do. She knows how to grow nutrient-dense food. When you bring sunlight, strong genetics, and living soil, the living soil is very, very important, then you can have nutrient-dense food. You don't need to fill everything with chemicals or pesticides.
Right. So what, and I'll pivot to you, and anytime you're ready to ask a question,
Sure.
Kristen, just raise your...
settling in, you know.
Exactly. So, Sun, with this, how do people get access to these types of foods?
Right now, the best we can do in the market is organic. And typically organic food, most people don't know this, I think, it still contains 32 chemicals that are harmful to us. But they're in a number that allows them in a spec to call it organic. But it's the food that's grown, like Kat said, in living soil, and where you have very good genetics that's going to create the medicine that we call food.
Right. So I know when I go to my favorite shopping area, give a shout out to Vaughn's, and not to talk to my friend Charles Parisi, my business partner. Let's get them on as a sponsor since we gave them a shout out. There's the organic, as you said, and then there's the, doesn't say non-organic. It's one that's not organic in this aspect of it. Is having that organic food better than not having it?
Oh, absolutely. Most of the big, and it makes sense why they do it. So no derogatory statements at all from us regarding how food is being distributed in the grocery stores that are not, say, Whole Foods or Sprouts.
Right.
But the problem is they breed the food, they make the food for more transportation and shelf life, the way it appetizingly looks, rather than looking at the nutrient density of the food. So when you do that, like an heirloom tomato is a really good example. When you look at it, it doesn't look like a beefsteak tomato that's perfectly red and ready to cut and put into a burger, right? So what's happened is our food is being delivered by very large concerns who really don't really care, but only about yield,
right,
and getting it to the ship and making money, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah, Kat and Sun. So I'm interested in this technology. So one, is it going to, Joe Blow consumer like myself? Is it going to farmers? And also I have all of these gadgets in my brain, what this could look like. So can you talk me through a little bit about what that physically looks like?
Certainly. Look, at some point in time, we're going to make this open source, right? That's our goal.
Yeah.
But it's such an important paradigm shift technology that we have to figure out the best way to get it out. Mm-hmm. And it's not always us that knows that. We welcome collaboration to be able to do that because we can't think all of this on. Yeah. So to answer your question, it's all of those. It's the ability, because we've ruined our atmosphere, 14 layers of atmosphere, the ozone, and you can see that now. Look what happened to Barrio with the climate change stuff. This isn't something that we're going to say, oh, we better prepare for it. It's happening now.
Yeah.
So we have to be able to protect our food, and some of it is doing it indoors. Not that we're a big fan of indoors, but it's a place to get the plant started, to get its immune system built up, so that when it does go out there, it has a chance to grow and flourish. So it's for the home gardener. It's for organizations that want to grow at their facility rather than worrying about transportation, senior centers. We can go on and on. But it's also to help the small farmers be able to have a better crop, high quality medicine. And so it really hits all the segments you're talking about. And we're not earmarking it for one.
Yeah.
Now, we need some investment in our company to be able to make a small one for home. All of that is possible. We just haven't done it yet. So it's just a matter of doing it.
We are chatting with our friends from Azentive, Dr. Kat Donnelly, and Sun Mutialu about all this really cool, really, really organic food. But they call it, it's almost like a medicine you're talking about. And I want to get that in a few seconds over here, joined by Neville Villamoria of Mission Fed Credit Union, my co-host, Kristen Fogel of San Diego Writers Inc. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. And our Spotlight show is brought to you by Mission Fed on this. Kat, talk a little bit about, well, you mentioned medicine, okay? What does this do for your body? How does it make you healthier? Is it with your bones? Is it with your mind? Is it with your heart? Is it with your brain? Is it with anything that's inside your body? Talk about that.
Yeah, I think it's important to step back for a minute and say that our food supply is basically plummeting in nutrient density from our artificial growing methods. And so those nutrients, all those secondary metabolites that the plant expresses, they lock in key into different systems of our body. And so we need those nutrients to be healthy. And that's why you see long rows of supplements at the grocery store or Costco's, because we're now supplementing instead of getting that naturally from our food.
Right, exactly. But if we went to this, okay, and we found this, and now it was really, really organic food, without 32 different things in it. What would you say? How many are in those?
I said there's about 32 different chemicals that are harmful.
Right.
But they're at the level
that is acceptable.
That it's acceptable, but it's still bioremedial. Our body still keeps it in there.
Right.
We don't flush it out.
Right, exactly. So, Neville, tell us how you deal with this type of food in your family.
Well, it's an ongoing challenge, right? On the one hand, there's this push-pull of what's financially available and then what's physically available. So the trade-offs are, unfortunately, we've made it more expensive to eat well and eat healthy and have nutritionally dense food.
Right.
So as a result, many of us compromise. It's a function of choice. It's a function of prioritization. Increasingly, we're seeing more people going vegan. We're seeing allergies and all kinds of immunological responses to, over time, our food system degrading. So actually, if we want to be healthy, we got to rethink this whole notion of what are we putting in our body, and if food is medicine, then we've got to get Mother Nature and Father Prophet to work together harmoniously to get us closer to the land so we can actually use food as medicine. And in my estimation, live a quadruple bottom line: people, planet, profit, and purpose. If we can work on all of those. And I think our current system is not oriented to all three or four. We talk about single bottom line, which is profit. In this case, I'm inviting us to think about quadruple bottom line: people, planet, profit, and purpose.
No, I think that's great. We come back from break. I want to chat more with our friends from Azentive on, what our listeners can do to support your efforts. That's always important in this area. Who do we need to lobby? Who do we need to scream from the mountaintops on this? That's how some of this, starts. And then again, where are some of these places where you can get what you're talking about at this point? When we return with another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, continuing to do spectacular things for us folk who live in San Diego County. They've been doing it for more than 6 decades. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union and these wonderful Mission Fed studios here in Scripps Ranch. Mission Fed always raising the bar for us folk who live here, San Diego County, joined by my co-hosts. I got 2 of them today. Kristen Fogel, the Executive Director of San Diego Writers, Inc., and Neville Billamori, our Senior VP of Mission Fed Credit Union, talking about our Azentive folks, Dr. Kat Donnelly, co-founder and CEO, and Sun Mutialu. Lou, he is the co-founder and CSO and CTO. Right before break, we were talking about what can our listeners do. I'll start with you on this, Kat, and then pivot over to Sun on this. Always want to hear what Neville's 2 cents is, and Kristen's as well. What can our listeners do to support what you're doing?
Well, to support themselves, they should grow their own food.
Okay.
It's very important that we start decentralizing the food systems and support their local farmers. If they can't grow their own food, we buy all of our food from, not all of it, a lot of our food from a local farm. just down the street, 5 minutes from us. So that's how we do it. And then for supporting this effort, it would be great if people start understanding the nutrient contents of their food and really paying attention to what they're eating, and just getting involved in the movement, insisting that their food provides nutrients for them, doesn't poison them. And I don't throw that word out lightly.
Right. So, but on this one, Sun, are there a list on your website where here are these local farms or here are these local places where you can actually buy some of this nutrient-heavy food?
We are very new to San Diego recently, so we haven't really established. In fact, that's probably some of the help that we're looking for.
Okay.
Our gardeners or any kind concerned that are in the organic market or want to be better than organic, want to do more growing locally rather than having things shipped in. One point I wanted to make, we could be talking to anybody growing food in this conversation.
Right.
The difference we make is that we're able to grow indoors any plant from any part of the world at any time of the year. So we can have a supply of nutrient-dense food for everybody. And the goal is not just to sell, but to be able to bring the sort of rainbow of foods necessary to have homeostasis in your body. This is about helping children in school, about seniors who can't get this. And for those people who can't go to a Whole Foods or go to a big, this is what this is all about. So it isn't that, and actually you could come to Kat's home. She's growing.
What's the address? Just kidding. Okay.
But that's the task, and it's a very big task because we've been normalized to do the things we do. And it's very understandable because it's quick. It's easy just to run down and do it.
Right. But is there something on your website that says exactly what you said? Here's some things that would really help the cause, okay? And if you can do X, whatever X is, okay, in this aspect, talk to your friends about it, talk to your kids' school about it. I mean, the one thing that's going to my mind, and I talked to Neville about this because, Mission Fed and Neville are just so laser beamed on education. What a great opportunity for the schools in their own gardens to do some of this. Talk about that, Neville.
Yeah, we've actually, in a prior conversation we had together, spoke to how impactful that could be, that we have schools all over now actually growing their own food.
They do.
But how do we make sure that it's nutritionally dense and connect the dots for the young folks so that they can build new behaviors? We're talking about food as medicine. Let's look at medicine for just a giggle. Bloodletting was considered a best practice for 1,500 years. We thought the world was flat. When the paradigm shifts, you can't turn everything changes fundamentally. We need that kind of a phase change with our food systems.
Right.
And I think that Azentive really provides a unique opportunity for the right investor to help take this to scale and make this part of our entire food system, and part of our whole planetary system. But until that happens, we're going to continue to live in deficit models, have subset standard foods, have all the downstream negative consequences of that. And I think that's a low down, dirty shame.
Well, I agree with you. But Kristen, when was the world discovered not to be flat?
What are you talking about right now?
He just said, the point I want to make on this one is, but think about this, Neville. If we have the schools start growing their food, a lot of them are doing that right now, and completely into this nutritious, strong base, nutrient strong. Talk about the other types of content they can talk about. They can talk about medicine. They can talk about physiology. They can talk about science. Now you got a holistic education just by them growing this type of food, is it not?
100%. And in other parts of the world, that's very much the way it is. Take Japan, for example. Everybody knows where the food came from. They talk about the quality of the food. They talk about the impact of what that is. So there's a much deeper connection to the entire food system. Here, we're completely disassociated. Back to Sun's point, if in winter I'm getting berries that came from South America, I have no freaking idea how they got here, what their nutritional value is. I just know that I can eat berries 365 days a year, but at what expense? So there's actually some benefit to eating seasonally appropriate foods as well. Yeah. So it's a both-and proposition, right? I'd love to have berries all year long, but it might make more sense from a balance, homeostasis point of view to eat what's seasonally appropriate too. So that's a whole different educational conversation for the young folks to attend to, right? As opposed to get a cheeseburger and fries every day of the week. And why? Well, it's available.
Right. And right, exactly. Kristen, you were going to say something?
No, I just agreed with my son goes to a school where they grow food and things like that. And I just, from the moment you were talking about it, I thought this needs to be in schools. Kids need to be doing this. So, yes.
But the thing is, even with the foods that you do get now and that they are growing, often it's seasonal, and it's a good idea to do that. But also, where do they get the starts of those plants to grow it? Are the plants healthy when they first come in? What do you do with those plants afterwards? Like, do you do 5 simple recipes? Because most kids often, when I was growing up, green, I'm not eating that, this is easier. So I think there's an education part of that as well that comes into play.
Yeah.
And one thing I wanted to mention, we've been normalized to do a lot of things. And the food industry never talks to the health industry, and the health industry never talks to the food industry.
Weird.
Well, that's because if you divide it that way, obviously you keep treating the symptom and never the cause. But with the food, you can do that. With food as medicine, you can do that. And all that energy comes from the sun, no matter what, because we'd be all gone if the sun wasn't here. So instead of having middlemen come between the energy of the sun and what you need to live, you have to be involved. You have to advocate for your own self and your own body, and for the children that you have, and for your grandparents and all of that. If you don't, and you allow all these other larger commercial things to get in your way, you're not only going to spend more money, you're going to live less, you're not going to be healthy, and you're not going to be able to do all those things that you really want to do in your life, because it starts with health, abundance, love, and longevity. If you don't do that in a very circular way, like Mother Nature, copying her, that very symbiotic way, then it doesn't matter. You're just going to go along with the crowd.
Right. So are you folks available when people listen to our podcast and say, how do I find out more about this? How do they get a hold of you?
Absolutely. They can find us on the website. We have a contact us form. Just fill that out. We answer every one of those. And we've probably missed one or two, but we answer them, and we talk to people as long as they want to talk. We're not here, we do have a light technology, but we're not here to sell lights. We're here to improve nutrient density in food.
Right. Very, very good. Neville, any final comments?
Yeah, I think if we look at, if we take a plant and we stick it in our window, it immediately bends towards the light.
Right.
The heliotropic effect is the life-giving property of the universe is a powerful juju. And it's up to all of us to tap into that power and connect with that universal opportunity for us to have health and well-being and create that for the next generation. So that's why I'm super excited about what Azentive is doing.
Yeah, I think next time we have one of our county superintendents on, we'll bring this up. Tim Baird is chair of our Classroom of the Future Foundation board, and he's well known. He was up in Encinitas of doing just unbelievably innovative stuff, and especially with some of the homegrown food here. I happen to know very well the current superintendent up there, Andre Gray, and they'll probably continue it. So go look it up at what Encinitas Union School District does, and we can probably tee you up to that, son.
Yeah, and just one other item. I wanted to just mention why we differentiate. What's the difference here working with us? Because there's people who do vertical farms, they do greenhouse growing and all that. Why are we different?
Right.
We're different because we have copied Mother Nature and created us a light that 100% does electromagnetic spectrum of sunlight. Unheard of. So not like an LED, none of these artificial lights, parking lot lights, Christmas tree lights that people use to do. We have literally created sunlight indoors. And what does that do for you? It allows you to use true living soil. It allows you not to have to put any kind of chemical inputs into it that get into the plant. So you can basically grow anything indoors. And again, that is what we've done from that. So like Kat said, we're not a lighting company. We're more goal-oriented in how many of these nutrient-dense food and medicine can we get out so we can help more and more people.
No, that's fantastic. Well, listen, appreciate you folks coming on. This probably won't be the last time I'll have you on. Hopefully, maybe you'll be on with one of the superintendents that we've convinced to take a look at this and learn from what you're doing. You got to start somewhere, in this aspect of it, and really appreciate Sun, both you and Kat coming on to talk about Azentive, and always Neville, you bring some very interesting folks on, talk about very important issues, of course, and it's certainly anytime you're talking about one's health, physical and mental, that's at the top of the game. So thank you so much for coming on.
And thank you for hosting us, Neville. Thank you very much. And thank you, San Diego County, for accepting and allowing us to be here and work with you.
Absolutely. We're just getting started on this. We've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest running community podcast. Kristen, thank you so much for co-hosting, as you always do now. You're into your 8th month now?
7th year, something like that.
No, not quite 7 years yet, but maybe 7 years down the road. Neville, always a pleasure seeing you and seeing all the great things that you're doing and bringing people in. I appreciate that. And we hope our listeners enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.